10,000 years into the future in 10 minutes. Hello everyone, we're sure that many of you know something about our planet's past. Dinosaurs, huge meteorites, ancient architectural monuments. Information about these things are available to everyone. But have you ever wondered what will happen to our planet in the future? Many modern scientists have been concerned with this for several decades. Fortunately, their knowledge helps us be able to make predictions not only for the next few years, but also for the coming decades. In today's video, we're going on a trip into the future to explore what changes might take place on our planet within the next 10,000 years. Let's get started. Of course, we'll start with the near future, as you'll probably want to know what you can expect to see with your very own eyes. Well, in 2019, new countries will appear on the world map. Bougainville Island, located in the Pacific Ocean, is officially an autonomous region of Papua New Guinea. However, in 2019, it can gain independence if a large number of its population votes at a specially convened meeting. And Nueva Caledonia, which is now part of France, can also become its own separate country. In 2020, the construction of the tallest building on the planet will be completed. You may know that today's tallest building is the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. However, this record can be exceeded. In Saudi Arabia, they plan to complete the construction of the Jeddah Tower, which will be the first building to reach the 1-kilometer high mark. Also in 2020, the private company Bigelow Aerospace, which is dedicated to space tourism, will launch into orbit a ship that could become a hotel for Earthlings. The testing of these ships has been successful so far, and one of them was actually used by cosmonauts at the ISS as a storage facility. 2024, SpaceX is planning to send a rocket to Mars with some different items, and a couple of decades later, the first settlers on the Red Planet should arrive. Can you imagine? If you think that the idea of moving people to another planet is delusional, then you should know that it is being researched and is completely plausible. The UN predicts that Earth's human population will reach 8.6 billion by 2030, 9.8 billion in 2050, and 11.2 billion by the year 2100. In 2026, the construction of the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, which began in 1883, will be completed. The biggest problem so far with the construction is just the need to design special stone blocks, which happens to take a lot of time. Therefore, in the near future, it might be possible to finally visit this place and have a good look from the inside. No matter how sad it may seem, in 2028, Venice will be uninhabited. This doesn't mean that the city will be completely underwater, but there is reason to believe that living there will be impossible due to a significant increase in water levels. And this is a horror story for those who have always been afraid of strange things falling from the sky. By 2029, the Apophis asteroid will approach Earth at 23,859 miles, which can lead to the collision of this large stone with our planet. But we hope we don't share the same fate as dinosaurs when this hot bundle will fly by. As we mentioned before, the most likely planet for life is Mars, so in 2033, not only a cargo ship will be sent to this planet, but also a true manned mission called Aurora. Researchers want to make sure that the planet is suitable for many people to colonize. And as you probably understand by now, the future is closely related to the study of outer space. Therefore, probes will be sent out in 2036 to study the star system of Alpha Centauri. The Breakthrough Star Project is sending an entire fleet of spaceships to the nearest star. The spaceship will be fitted with solar sails. Prior to Alpha Centauri, the probes will fly for 20 years, but another 5 years will be needed to send the message back to Earth about the successful arrival. By 2040, an experimental thermonuclear reactor will begin to work. The construction started in 2007 in southern France, 40 miles from Marseille. If you didn't know, this is a necessary reactor to get a lot of energy. The advantage of this particular reactor is its safety, because even in an event of an accident, the amount of emissions will be so small there won't be a need for evacuation. Today, Antarctica is almost completely unexplored and a protected place. But by 2048, the ban on mineral extraction in this area might not exist anymore. Under the Antarctic Treaty System, no country can own this territory, and the continent itself is a non-nuclear zone. Mining is now also strictly prohibited, but scientists expect this agreement to be revised exactly in 2048. We don't quite understand how this was calculated, but scientists are confident that by 2050, the colonization of Mars will have begun. By this time, people will be able to fly to the Red Planet within the framework of the Mars One project. But before that, scientists will have to solve many interplanetary travel problems. There is information that a special interplanetary elevator, or something like it, is planned to be built, but there is no official confirmation of its blueprint yet. Well, we told you about the closest changes to the planet. Are you ready to go further? Scientists don't seem to have any good news about the year 2100 because the weather will be ruined and chaos will rule the world. The average daily temperatures on the planet will begin to rise, while diseases and the likelihood of war will increase. Today, some regions are already increasingly feeling the lack of water and suffering from droughts, while other regions suffer from terrible floods due to heavy rain each year, and there are more and more cases of forest fires. This global cataclysm has one reason. Overall, according to NASA experts, it's because of the carbon dioxide which we emit in large quantities into our atmosphere. By early 2015, its concentration set a record and exceeded 400 particles per million. By 2100, it's expected to grow to 900 particles per million. As a result of these adverse changes, the average daily summer temperature in cities such as Jerusalem, New York City, and Los Angeles will be 45 degrees Celsius. And in London and Paris, it's expected to be over 30 degrees Celsius. It's hard to believe, but according to NASA estimates, there's almost a 100% chance of the Himalayan glaciers in the Everest region will melt. But as long as these events don't lead humankind to its end, nevertheless, by the year 3000, the temperature can rise by 15 degrees Celsius worldwide, and the sea level will rise by more than 36 feet, flooding most of London. As a result of these sudden changes, the UK may become warmer or colder, but it will turn into a warm region eventually. This can happen if the current North Atlantic system is altered and Britain loses the warm Gulf Stream. Ocean surface temperatures will drop by 3 degrees, but if the Arctic ice melts, it'll increase again by 8 degrees in a short period of time. If we continue to burn fossil fuels, then the sea level and the temperature will keep growing, which can lead to the flooding of much of Bangladesh, Florida, and many other places that are really close to the sea level. As a result, hundreds of millions of people will lose their homes. At the same time, the acidity of the oceans will decrease significantly, creating a threat to the existence of marine organisms such as coral and plankton. This, in turn, can affect the entire marine ecosystem. Such unpleasant information isn't excellent food for thought. But it's not too late to avoid a global catastrophe because everything is in our hands. Well, now this is the time to talk about the distant future. This is about the year 4000 and 5000. Due to population growth, consumption of goods produced on the planet will also increase. If scientists succeed in transferring some people to other planets, then it will be difficult to rebuild factories and plants here. Therefore, to feed a colossal population of several dozen billion people, there will be thousands of farms operating in the oceans that will produce food at an incredible scale. In these ocean farms, not only fish but also algae will be grown, which will be then used as food and fuel. Science and technology will go on a step further, so it's very likely that telepathy will become one of the usual ways to increase brain functionality. Perceiving thoughts and transferring them to a distance will become a familiar habit, like reading, for example. It may sound like fantasy now, but if by thought transmission we mean the transmission of electrical signals from the brain, this is really already happening. Time surely passes, and then the year 7000 and 8000 are already here. Whatever happens inside of the Earth and on the surface of our planet, some phenomena will remain unchanged. The Earth will continue to revolve around the Sun, the Moon will continue to orbit the Earth. However, astronomical cycles will change slowly but significantly. The gravitational opposition between the Earth and the Moon will persist, but our satellite will move away several inches each year, decreasing in the sky until it finally becomes so small that it can no longer cause a total solar eclipse. Then, between the year 10,000 and 20,000 AD, none of us can say with confidence what exactly would happen. However, some futuristic scientists share their assumptions with us. Since we can't disprove their theories, we'll just have to take their word for it. Therefore, it's believed at this point in time the population of the planets, Earth and Mars, may become an immortal robotic army living in an environmentally clean world which nanobots care for. Diseases will disappear, there will be no wars, guest visits will be normal, and accessible trips in interplanetary elevators will be a thing. But these are just assumptions with no supporting evidence. I guess there's really only one way to verify them. Let someone invent a time travel machine and, come let us know in the past what really happens in the future. Well, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the future with us, and please comment below with your thoughts and anything that you might think will happen in the future. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.